My name is Azar, and my Azar Nafisi, and I am an Iranian-American, and I'm a reader and a writer and a teacher. You know, a lot of people ask me, why did you write Republic of Imagination, or what the heck is a Republic of Imagination? To begin with, Republic of Imagination for me is composed of a community of readers and writers. It is a community of people who are passionate and in love about ideas and about imagination. And one of the most important thing about it is that it has no boundaries. You're not going to be judging a book or reading a book based on ethnicity or religion or politics or nationality or gender. And I love this community that defies time and space and all the boundaries that reality puts in front of us. And for me, it was that a lot of times people in a democracy feel too complacent, and they forget that what creates a democracy is based on ideas and imagination and meaning and connections and empathy and curiosity. And so I wanted to show that a democracy cannot survive without a democratic imagination. That was the basis of it. Today in America, we are segregating science and literature, while there was a wisdom to the fact that our founders, even Washington, who was a military man, said that public happiness depends upon literature and sciences, because from time immemorial, literature and science had been an essential aspect of what it means to be human. In order to survive as a human, you need to be curious. You need to be able to, this snow is fantastic, but you need to be able to know enough about climate to know how to preserve nature as well as live with it and use it. So you need to be curious without putting your own desires and prejudices. Science has to be neutral and find out what it is about nature. Now, literature goes into something more abstract and yet very close to us, which is our heart. And literature makes us both be curious about others. And that is also a way of surviving. You can't survive in and of yourself. You need to connect to others. And you need to know others, even your enemies, in order to be able to, confront them. And so literature alongside of curiosity brings empathy, brings connections, so that an American, young, wonderful, intelligent American girl in Aspen, Colorado, sheds tears and her hearts break for a young kid in Syria who's been bombarded out of his house. So that is why we are wrong to segregate science and literature. We need them both. How can one make it concrete, especially to young people? Why literature is not just escape? Why, in order to know yourself, you need to go out of yourself? Stories make you, first of all, they make you joyous. And second of all, telling a story or reading a story makes you control the reality that you cannot control otherwise. When you tell your own story from your own perspective, if you live under an authoritarian regime, for example, you are getting control of who you are and where you are and how you are. Aspen Words has now created this wonderful prize for a work of fiction that has had most effect on society and on changing people's lives, and I can't tell you how timely that is. And people ask, people from Aspen Word ask you as a writer, what book changed your life? And I want to tell you that I'm very promiscuous when it comes to books. I have no shame. I love the best of them, no matter where they come from. I just love James Baldwin today, and then I add Zora Neale to him, and then I add Jane Austen, and you know, love them all. So it's very difficult for me to choose one book that has affected me, because each of these books have affected me in a different way. I am so amazed and also ashamed by how my generation defines the young people, or what we call millennials. The way we define them are a bunch of people who don't care about anything but themselves, who are both confused and distracted, who love selfies because they're self-indulgent. And then I meet the young people, and they're not at all like that, at least the ones I meet. You know, they are confused, they are passionate, and they're critical. One of the first things I tell the students is that writers and artists, to quote the great James Baldwin, are here to disturb the peace. We're not here to cuddle you. We're not here to tell you the world is all right, because the world is not all right. What my generation and our political elite today have done is they have deprived the youth of that meaning which made America such a land of opportunity. So I tell them, don't listen to us. Don't listen to us that you should go to college and choose a work that will take you to Goldman Sachs or Trump Tower. Do it if you're in love with being in business. And do it the way the great businessmen did. They gave back. I tell them, choose what is your passion and fight for it. Fight for it in schools, fight for it with your parents, fight for it with your presidents. You are the future. And if you guys don't define yourselves, someone else would. There's a personal reason for me to be so joyous coming to Aspen, because my city of birth, Tehran, was surrounded by mountains. And an hour away from Tehran, we would go skiing, or we go to mountains like this. And one of my best memories in my whole life was walking in the snow with the sun shining on us. And my friend and I, we used to take cream puffs and go on these snow walks. And coming to Aspen, isn't it strange? I find my Tehran, and I want to thank the Aspenians and Aspen world for giving me this gift.